Well, as it turns out, the IRS is working with the ATF to confiscate all gun records. Now, what's that even mean? Well, as it turns out, what we're seeing is if any gun store gets a visit from the IRS, it gets pretty aggressive pretty quick. Give an example. Recently, a gun store in Montana was raided by the IRS with the ATF in tail. IRS, armed with firearms, go in with police agents for tax reasons. Now, it is what it is, but they confiscated all of the Form 4473s as well as all of their receipts and their logs. Problem is, those Form 4473s were not on the warrant. The gun store owner contacted the ATF and they said, no, that was not on the warrant, but the IRS confiscated them anyway. And this is a pattern. If the IRS goes into a gun store, they're taking the Form 4473s and they're working with the ATF. Well, what are they doing with these Form 4473s? Well, that's a great question. Because for the last several years, the ATF has been compiling a gun registry. And anytime they go into a gun store and they confiscate these 4473s, which is pretty regular thing to do, that is then put into this digital registry. Now, it's not just IRS raids. If the ATF does an audit, which is very regular, sometimes a couple times a year they may do an audit, they'll also confiscate those Form 4473s, or at the very least make digital copies of them. This is a pattern that we're seeing. They're finding reasons to go into gun stores that have nothing to do with gun registries to create a gun registry. A digital gun registry is what they're doing with these forms. So for example, if I bought a gun at that store in Montana, I would be in a digital gun registry right now. If you bought a gun at that store, you will too. But there's several stores I have bought guns from that have received audits that they've then copied all of their Form 4473s. What's going on with this? Again, it's to make a digital gun registry is what I believe, because the ATF announced they were making a digital gun registry a few years ago. They didn't call it a gun registry, but ultimately the argument was it's too difficult to keep up with the paperwork, so they're upgrading their computer systems, aka a gun registry. You don't just take all these Form 4473s from multiple gun stores around this nation for no reason. Especially when it's not on the warrant from the judge. A lot of things got confiscated during these raids, but that was not one of them that was on there. They just took it upon themselves to take that information because every chance they can get it, they're gonna take it. And then they're forming a giant digital registry. So there you go. Any thoughts or insight on any of that? Definitely put it in the comments below, but IRS working with the ATF, not pretty. Again, put your comments below. If you like this video, click like and subscribe. Feel called to support this channel with Patreon. That link is also below. But the most important part of this channel is we take prayer requests, so please don't ever hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, love guns.